One of the most pervasive myths about sexual violence is that only women and girls experience it. Most of the time, when the subject is sexual violence, assault, harassment, or misconduct, the assumption is that the person being victimized is female identified and the perpetrator is male identified. But this simply isn't true. Survivors of sexual violence who identify as men are frequently ignored, which leaves male survivors floating out in space on their own, without the support they deserve. So let's get a few things clear about male-identified survivors of sexual violence. There are more of them than you may think, but cultural beliefs about gender result in a lack of resources and support, and they face a unique set of challenges that may look a little different from the challenges that female-identified survivors face. Let's explore. First, let's look at the numbers. While no statistics are perfect, our best data shows that 1 in 6 men will experience some form of sexual violence in their lifetime. However, because research also shows that men are less likely to report than people with other gender identities, those numbers are probably underestimates. There are probably many male-identified people who have had unwanted sexual experiences but have never shared what happened to them. This isn't surprising, given widespread cultural beliefs about gender. Sexual assault is often treated as a women's issue, and many resources for sexual violence survivors are geared towards female-identified people. This means that male survivors may be treated with skepticism, discomfort, or even suspicion when they seek support from law enforcement, clinicians, mental health providers, and community resources. Even seeking out information online may lead to site after site that leave male-identified survivors out of the conversation. But these beliefs don't just affect the resources that are available to men. They also affect the way people treat male-identified survivors, which means that the challenges they face are unique. Our culture treats male sexual desire like a switch that never gets turned off. So some people presume that men can't be sexually assaulted because they always want it. When a man is sexually assaulted by a woman, people may make jokes about how lucky he is to have gotten some. And the majority of perpetrators are male. So for straight identified men, being assaulted by another man may challenge their identity, like their masculinity or sexuality is in question. And finally, regardless of their gender identity, a person with a male reproductive system may experience physical responses during an assault that leave them confused and upset. For a person with a penis, it is very common to have an erection or an ejaculation occur during an assault. This does not mean that the person consented. Erections are not consent, and they don't necessarily indicate anything about that person's state of mind. They are physical responses to stimulation that can happen regardless of the person's emotions or desires. It's like being tickled. You might hate the feeling, but still find yourself laughing. If a person has an ejaculation or erection, it only means that their body has had a common, normal physical response. But it is understandable that a person may feel many conflicted and complicated emotions as a result. So what does all this mean for someone who identifies as a man and experiences sexual violence? Simply put, it means that they don't receive the care, understanding, and support they need to sort through the complicated emotions they may be feeling. Men often get the message that emotions are for girls and that boys should be tough, but that's just not true. No one should ever be told to man up or scolded that boys don't cry. Feeling sad, angry, confused, or numb are all natural responses to trauma, regardless of a person's gender identity. Men deserve spaces where they can feel safe and supported to share what happened to them, to process their feelings, and to heal. If you or someone you care about is in need, there are a few resources that can help. 1 in 6 is an organization specifically for male-identified survivors of sexual violence. They operate a 24/7 online hotline, weekly online support groups, and a website with many more resources. Male Survivor is another organization that supports male-identified survivors. In addition to operating support groups and leading trainings, they maintain a directory of therapists and mental health care providers that specialize in care for male survivors. Finally, SASS services are for people of all genders. We welcome male-identified survivors to reach out to our 24/7 crisis and support hotline or go to our website to learn more about our services, including our weekly men's meetup support group. SASS strives to create a world where no one needs our services. Until then, we are here for you.